It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says ta-da.
And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another post.
She is a star with a capital S. It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that?
It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello and welcome to the Sprint Lane podcast. This is episode 109 and of course this is the Sunday session. My name's Greg Hayes and it's great to have your company. Off the top of this week's podcast, I'll start by saying there's some exciting news coming for the Sprint Lane podcast. I've been at this podcast caper for more than a year now and have put out a podcast every Saturday night in that time, and I hope you've enjoyed it. There is a change coming. I won't say too much, but what I will say is that the Sunday session is going to have next week off and be back on Sunday week for another edition. Now, in saying that, stay tuned for the announcement. There's so much good racing coming up with the Breeders' Challenge just around the corner. The Carnival of Cups continuing to roll on, and then we run into the Inter-Dominion Series, which of course is in New South Wales this year. So I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back in a fortnight, but stay tuned for further announcements in regards to the Harness Racing New South Wales Sprint Lane podcast. My favourite race series, the Inter-Dominion, is less than 2 months away. The first round of heats will be run on Friday, the 29th of November at Newcastle. Second round of heats goes to Bathurst on Wednesday, December 4. With the third round of heats being run at Menangle on December 7. Final a week later, December 14. I love the Inter-Dominion. I have since I was a child. I wasn't brought up in a horse racing family, but always took interest in the race. The ability of a trainer and a driver to nurse a horse through 3 runs in the space of a week and then have them peak in a final has always appealed to me as a true test of horsemanship. I can remember some great Inter-Dominions that I was lucky enough to cover, and probably the Inter-Dominion of 2004 is a highlight of mine, going to Perth with the local champ, the Falcon Strike, taking on Sociola, who was a favourite of mine, Double Identity, another favourite, and Joe Fess. It was a great series, a lot of depth. I had the most memorable 2 weeks in Perth, and with harness racing being more mainstream in WA than it is in the eastern states, there was a real buzz in the city. That final was a classic, with Joe Fess winning narrowly from the Falcon Strike and Sociola, with the margin being the closest in Inter-Dominion history at the time. First rankings are out for this year's series. 90 paces nominated. Leap to Fame on top, and he was a winner at Melton on Saturday night. In front of Catch a Wave, Better Eclipse, Don Hugo, Major Moth, Swayze, Speak the Truth. The first round of Trotters rankings are out. 63 nominations for that series. No surprise to see Just Believe and Call Me the Breeze, the leading contenders for that one. As you'd expect, New South Wales will have plenty of representatives being the host state, and I'm looking forward to the series getting underway. I remember I copped a fair bit of stick over on In the Gig over my support for the Inter-Dominion and the traditional series. I remember all the tinkering that they did with it. Victoria changed it up in the early part of the century, and then we even had a few years where heats were run across the country and the finals were run at Menangle in Sydney. The beauty of the old Inter-Dominion series and the rotation was what made it such a special race. But with only a couple of states now in a position to hold it and fund it, I'm really concerned about the race's future again. It's basically now New South Wales, Queensland or WA that can host it. I did speak with Brad Steele, the new CEO of Harness Racing New Zealand, before he took up that role, and he did say that he would like to see New Zealand return as a host. But again, you'd have to think money would be an issue. The boss of Menangle, Bruce Christensen, said on this podcast back in the 100th episode about his passion for the Inter-Dominion and suggested a starter fee could be the answer, with the money raised paying for the series, which could see all of the states return to hosting duties. But I get the feeling that that's a fair way off. I've got my fingers crossed for the Inter-Dominion. In the short term, the fire burns, but where will it be in 10 years' time? Will it still be going? I hope it is, and I hope the new generation of administrators understand the importance and history of such a great race. So, who's on the podcast this week? Well, I haven't spoken to Robbie Morris for a while on the podcast. He had a good night at Menangle, driving Colonia Courage, Madigan and Canina Provlima. So I thought it was time to catch up with Robbie. No doubt Kerry Ann will have a few horses set for the Inter-Dominion, and we can have a chat about that as well. So Robbie Morris, I'll catch up with him in just a few moments. My second guest is Josh Gallagher. He works for Kerry Ann and Robbie and picked up a driving double himself at Menangle on Saturday night, including the feature race, the Frith Stakes, driving Artie's Express for Jason Grimson. Of course, Jason and Josh had a relationship going back a few years ago now. They've had great success, won big feature races like Inter Dominions. Josh recently brought up his 100th winner for the season. Good achievement for the young bloke. Has a great mentor in Robbie Morris, and Josh handles himself so well on and off the track. He's another of these young drivers in New South Wales with the world at their feet. The Menangle Express is back again, where I look at each of the races from Saturday night. I'll tell you what I saw. Mr. T will pass on another couple of tips. I'm in all sorts of trouble in the tipping comp. I can't find a winner, and he's finding them every week. So I'll update the tipping leaderboard as well. So plenty to get through, but first up, I'm going to catch up with Robbie Morris.
And Morris shooting for a treble sends Kanina Provlima nicely clear around the corner. It's Kanina Provlima in the twinkling, 8 metres in front. R11 Art, Joe Nean down the outside, Major, and still there Jillaby Nitro, but it's all Kanina Provlima. Interest only in the minors, but Kanina Provlima's going to bolt in. Kanina Provlima first at the wire. Joe Nean got up to run second over on the inside, R11 Art and Jillaby Nitro.
Well, a treble at headquarters on a Saturday night is a big effort, and it was Robbie Morris who picked up the 3 winners, and he's joining me to have a chat. Hey, Robbie, how are you?
Hey, mate, how are you? Thanks for having me.
No problems at all. 3 winners on a Saturday night at Menangle is a good night.
Yeah, I was really pleased with how the night went. It was good to see Kanina Problema get back into a bit of form, and yeah, I got the drive for Jared Ouchin stable, obviously with Cam away, so always good to fill in there, and winner for Troy Williams, which is always supporting me throughout every week. So yeah, it was a good night.
Mate, Kanina Provlima. I was having a chat to Gareth Hall on SEN about him during the week. He found himself in a really winnable race. Hadn't won a race since the Ballarat Cup. So it had been a while between drinks, but gee, he really zipped up when you asked him to move tonight.
Yeah, it's, I think the Menangle free-for-all is the hardest free-for-all in Australia. It's so strong week in, week out, and they're running such good times. And he's been going really good, just been drawing wide gates and having to do a lot to get across to the fence. And nothing sort of really panned out, but Terry's done a good job with him after the last carnival. She wanted to give him a bit of a freshen up to prepare him for the Inter Dominion coming up. So he was always going to take a few runs. Both him and Pete Tedso are a little bit like that. So they're really sort of just coming into form now and hopefully ready to peak come late November.
You had to do a little bit of work to find the front tonight. They wanted to make you work. Even you caught out 3 wide, but even then when you wanted to go forward and find the top, they were kicking up underneath you.
Yeah, look, in those races are always highly competitive, and I didn't really want to have to blow him right out of the gate. It's sort of so many times you can do that in a row. So I was quite happy to just work across and lob in somewhere if we could, or just keep rolling forward. I thought the front would be there when we got there, but as it turned out, a few things sort of didn't shake out the way we thought they would early. So we had to go to plan B, and we had to do a little bit of work once we got there, but he's obviously dropping back that touching grade helped him a hell of a lot.
You mentioned the Inter Dominion. I'm assuming that's going to be his goal before the end of the year.
Yeah, that's it. He was so good making the final last year in Brisbane, and Pete Tedso's going to try and make his 3rd final in a row. So be good to have both them there. So yeah, everything's same in that way.
You drove Colonia Courage for Troy Williams. I had Troy on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he said that this bloke was flying, and tonight you got him the right run again, and he just proved too strong.
Yeah, he has. He's been going really good. He got left outside the leader last week, which didn't suit him, but he boxed on really good, and he sort of come out of the gate strong again today and launched straight in behind the leader, so it worked out pretty good early. And he's got a great trip, but that's his trip that he loves, and he let down really good, so Troy's got him going super.
Yeah, and you can set your clock to him. He runs that 151 and a piece, week in, week out. Troy's doing a great job with him.
Yeah, he is. He's got him racing really consistent, and horse looks well, and he's racing great, and I'm really happy for him.
What about Madigan? He wanted to run around a bit in the straight, but it was a good job after doing some work in the early stages.
Yeah, he was really good. He got a good cross. Probably had to do a little bit more work than I expected early. 48 and a piece lead time, sort of pretty strong for that grade. But then got a good helmet to follow. Yeah, he's a little bit green, and he's probably still working at his craft. But all Jared's team, he does such a good job with them, and he raced great, and he's probably still got a little bit of upside to him when Jared sorts him out, which I'm sure he will in time. But he felt like a nice horse. You
mentioned, obviously driving for Jared while Cam's away. Have you done much driving for Jared in the past?
Not really, no. Obviously, it's hard, with Kerry having such a big team and Jared's got his drivers, so we probably don't get the opportunity much together to form a combination. But the odd time when he's needed me, I've drove the odd one for him, but not a lot. But it's always good, Jared worked at that early days, so we've always been friends, and it was good to get the winner for him.
Mate, Funky Monkey and the Trot, gee, they went pacing time in the early stages of this one.
Yeah, I was probably a little bit disappointed with myself there early. If I had my time over again, I probably should have let Sleepy in front of me to just allow me to do a little less work and it to do a little more work. To be honest, I don't think it changes the result of the race all that much. I think probably Aldebaran Zeus still wins because he would have had to make me come first. I would have had to come first over a bit earlier. But if I let Sleepy sort of get across me early, I would have probably run second. But I just didn't sort of think it'd shake out the way it did early. But that's life. You can't get them all right. But I was wrapped with it. 26-2 for the Trotters out of the gate. She was still there boxing off for a good third. She's got a good prep ahead, and all things being equal, hopefully heading in the right direction for the Inter-Dominion with her as well. She's
had the 3 runs back from a spell. She's run third each time. Gee, she's been an honest conveyance right throughout her career. She's close to $250,000 in stakes. She's just the perfect horse, isn't she?
Yeah, no. Only Kerry mentioned it tonight after the race. Her mannerisms and she's every season she's got better, and Kerry and Josh done a fair bit of driving there on her when I went away to Brisbane for a period of time, and she's really come on in age now. She's racing with no head check. She's racing relaxed. She's not early days. She was sometimes her own worst enemy, but the team's done a really good job to sort of mould her into what she is now, and she's just ultra consistent. You couldn't have asked for any of her runs to be any better, and we're really pleased. She's got a great group of owners. You wish they could all be like her, that's for sure.
What about you? You brought up I think it's the 13th consecutive year or season that you brought up 100 winners. That's a great achievement to have, feather in your cap.
Yeah, it is. I probably, set out a goal every year to drive the 100. Mainly just for consistency. Premierships are great, but, if you're consistently churning out 100, 120 winners every year, you're obviously, people are supporting you and still willing to support you and put you on. So, it's something that I'm very proud of, and hopefully I can do it for another 13, 14, 15 years.
And then, there's still some big races to come. You mentioned the Inter-Dominion, but the, Breeders' Challenge is just around the corner, so there's still some big races that normally, Kerry Stable is a part of when the whips are cracking.
Yeah, no, it's an exciting time of year. Obviously, Kerry's lucky. She's got a lot of owners every year to get to the yearling sales and supply with some really well-bred, babies which turn into 2-year-olds. And, he's a treacherous with Super in his Breeders' Challenge heat. Sugar Rush qualified. So, we're really lucky. Kerry's got a great group of owners that fire a lot of nice horses. So, it's always a busy time of year.
Mate, last time I had you on, you said that there was a nice 2-year-old trotter that was about to hit the track, and you were spot on because it went down to Victoria and won its first start, and then did a good job. Anything else that comes to mind that you can think of that's going well in races that are just around the corner?
I'm really happy with Sugar Rush, to be honest with you. She's probably had Kerry had a few little issues with her early in the prep, and she's eyeing them out and probably been a little bit behind the 8 ball, but she's, her run last Tuesday in a 52 mile, she ran right through the line. She's probably one that I think there's still a bit of improving in leading into the Breeders' Challenge semi, so I'm probably going to lean with her.
All right, mate. Well, always good to catch up with you. Huge night again for you at headquarters with another 3 wins. As I said, recently brought up that 100 winners in the season, and that's the 13th time you've done it in a row. So another good season for Robbie Morris. Thanks for joining me.
Appreciate you having me, mate. Thank you.
400 metres left to go, 27 for the quarter, and Ardy's Express led the way from Tay Tay and Oliver Bubbles, and then came the Vicar of Dibley as heads were turned for home. The leader is Ardy's Express, trying hard and coming off its back now is Tay Tay, and Oliver Bubbles trying to get to the pair, but the leader still Ardy's Express. Tay Tay 4 metres adrift, 5 metres away is Oliver Bubbles. It's a Grimson trifecta, and Ardy's Express too good. Ardy's Express goes aim to beat Tay Tay. Third home in the race, Oliver Bubbles, and Treacherous Gal hit the line well for fourth.
Good night for Josh Gallagher tonight at Club Menangle with a couple of winners on the program, and he's joining me to have a chat. G'day, Josh. How are you?
Hey, Hazy. Thanks for having me on.
No problems at all, mate. Having a good run at the moment.
Super, yeah. Can't complain. So, just ticking them over, and it was a good night to, get a couple of boys away.
You drove Terry for Darren Binskin in race number 2. This horse, you've got a bit of an affinity with it. It's, I think you've now driven 3. You've driven it to 3 victories, and tonight you just got it into a beautiful spot.
Yeah, we drew a little bit of a wide barrier, and last week we sort of went forward over the journey, and just a little bit of speed inside us. So we just went back out the gate and. Managed to find the 1-1 and, just got a really good trip into the race. And, they peeled a really good quick quarter, the last quarter, and, he really flourished off it.
Darren's done a really good job with him. He's got him racing extremely well, and I think that's the key with some of these older horses. He's a 7-year-old. Once you get him into a bit of form, they swell up and feel pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, they do. He does a good job with all of his horses, and it's just good to get a good association with him, and so hopefully, he keeps improving and keeps on the up.
Mate, what were you thinking when you pulled him out into the clear at the top of the straight? Did you think you were going to be able to run down Whiskey Cavalier and Ragazzo Daitelli, who was getting the run back on the inside?
Not really. I thought, they're the two probably class of the field. I know we beat Ragazzo Daitelli last week, but, Terry likes rolling along, and, they sort of walked through the middle there and, zipped the last good quarter. So, he raced good tonight, and hopefully he keeps improving.
Well, that was an impressive performance in race number 2. The second of your victories was in the feature race of the night, which, of course, was the Fritz Stakes, and that was Ardy's Express driving one for Jason Grimson. Nice to jump on a mare like her.
Yeah, she's a really good quality mare. These are all the drives that you want to get as a freelance driver, and it's just really good to pick up the drive like Cam was in Melbourne.
Did it come as a bit of a shock to get the phone call from Grimo to say, do you want to jump aboard?
Not really. He does put me on every now and again, and we've had a really good association, and it was just good to get a really nice quality mare, and
Once she was able to lead and Tay-Tay and Jack Callaghan were happy to jump onto your back, I guess you're basically waiting until the 200 to see that whether Tay-Tay's going to be able to come outside you and slip past you. But you got a pretty comfortable lead, really, didn't you?
Yeah, we, she was pretty short at the market, and, nothing really, fight out the gate. I think we got out the gate in 28, and the first half was pretty reasonable, and we by the cages at the 600, started ramping her up, and we run a very really good last half. So, yeah, she's a quality mare, and yeah, she's a really nice horse.
Could you hear Tay Tay there on your back?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried. She was still on my helmet at the 200, as you said, and she was a bit lazy in front. Artie's Express, and when Tay Tay come to the outside, she just picked up the bit and found another gear.
So that were your two winners for the night. You drove Anything Goes for Kevin Pizzuto in race number 1. It finished 5th, beaten about 10 metres, showed good speed at the start of its race. And what did you make of its run?
Yeah, I was really happy with him. First up from New Zealand, not having a trial, and it's just really good to see what he could do here. And he's only slightly raced for. I think he's a 7-year-old, so he's only going to improve off that. And so I don't know what the plans are with him, but I think he might be back in next week. So hopefully, we'll get a good draw, and he'll really benefit off tonight's run.
Ryan's Gangster finished 3rd in race 3 behind Colonia Courage. You saved as much ground as you could with Ryan's Gangster and did a good job.
Yeah, he was super. They went 51, and his gate speed really helped him a lot. He come out the gate and lobbed 3 cents, and it was a 10 straight run, so that really helped him a lot.
And Corby Stumbler finished 4th. It looks like it's getting starting to get a little bit of fitness under its belt.
Yeah, he was really good. He did get on the chewy a bit, and probably a bit too much for how fast we were going, and to finish where he did, I was really wrapped with the way he went.
Sonny G in the trot finished 5th, but gee, there was some speed on in that one.
Yeah, 26-2 out the gate. He's just been a good old war horse, Sonny, and he's always there, whether the good horses racing or through winter when the good horses are sort of having a spell. He's always turned up and done his job, and a really good money spent for connections.
Mate, just having a look, is there any rivalry between you and Robbie? Because you're pretty close to one another on the premiership at the moment.
Not really. We're really good mates, and so I think I'm just in front of him. So hopefully I can ride out the season and stick it up him.
It's just having a look back. As I mentioned, you're over the 100 winners again this season. You've got to be happy with that. There's a lot of work that goes into to having a record like that one. Yeah,
you couldn't do it without the owners and trainers putting you on each week, and trusting you to do the right thing and earn the money. So just going to be thankful for them, and so it's been a hard year, but it's just good to get the job done.
Mate, it's grand final time, of course. Sheridan's not in the grand final this year. Did you get out and watch the semi-final last week?
Yeah, we got out there, and the Chooks, they got a really good team, and I think they'll be hard to beat tomorrow. So she played, she had a really good season again, off the win of the back of last year in the grand final. So she's really loving the game, and she can't complain.
Mate, you must be pretty proud of her, because obviously, talented soccer player and captain the country and everything like that at junior level, and then to see her go through and play first grade rugby league in the women's comp. You must be pretty proud of her.
Yeah, very proud. I think it was only 2, maybe 3 years ago she was playing soccer and for the young Matildas and that, and she made the sudden change to league, and it's all paid off, and she just works hard, and hopefully she keeps making the rep teams, and yeah.
Coming up as a kid, did you have her ability playing soccer or rugby league or anything like that?
No, I didn't. Played a lot of sport as a kid, but she was always a sporting kid, and I come to reality pretty quick when she was smashing me. So I went to the horses, and it's where I've been ever since.
Well, mate, it's always good to drive a couple of winners on a Saturday night. As I said, recently brought up 100 winners for the season, so you're having a fine time of it. Congratulations, well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Time for the Menangle Express, where I have a look at all of the Menangle races and see if I can find a future winner or two. We start with race 1. The favourite was Narano at $2. Speed early from Boom, Anything Goes, and Narano, with Narano crossing down from out wide. They quickly found their position, so on the pegs it was Narano, Anything Goes, Boom, Pete Said So, Stingray Tara, Sahara Tiger, Running Line, Star Major, Classy Washington, Perfect Stride, and Nyack. Lead time 49.8. I guess the strangest part of the race was they never went into single file over the longer trip. Lead time 49.8. First two quarters were 30.1 and 28.6. Narano clicked up at the cages. Star Major kept him working and made sure that he didn't get too far away. 27-1 around the side. They fanned, turning for home. Narano kicked away and set up a good lead. Perfect Stride started to wind up with Nyack. Pete Said So was blocked for a run on the inside. Narano wobbled around in the straight but had a big enough lead to hang on, with Perfect Stride cutting the margin right down at the finish. Nyack kept making ground down the outside, got third. Final quarter 27.4, mile rate 154. Narano good, Perfect Stride going really well. It can win again soon. Improved run from Nyack. Classy Washington got fourth. Got the right run, though. Runner with no luck was Pete Said So, who was in the pocket the whole way down the straight. Forget it, went round. Race number 2, the fave was Whiskey Cavalier at $2. Speed early from Whiskey Cavalier and Ragazzo Di Tilly, with Whiskey Cavalier crossing. The first two got well in front of the rest. On the pegs, it was Whiskey Cavalier, Ragazzo Di Tilly, Heavenly Charm, Outside Fighter, See Ya Art, Foxy Data. Running line, Mick Danger, Terry Unfazed. First quarter, 26.9. They backed it right off to 30.3. Mick Danger left Whiskey Cavalier alone, so the leader got a chance to set its own speed. Around the side, 28.1. They fanned on the corner, and the two horses that looked to run on would be Terry and Unfazed. But as they straightened, Unfazed put a few rough ones in and then galloped, and ended up locking wheels with Outside Fighter, and as a result, See Ya Art was checked. Ragazzo Di Tilly stuck to the inside, and Whiskey Cavalier ran away from the pegs. Terry kept on trucking down the outside and was able to get there in the shadows of the post. Ragazzo Di Tilly, another placing. Whiskey Cavalier found it tougher in this company when being kicked out at the start. Final quarter, 26.8, mile rate 152.1. Heavenly Charm was good, had to angle off the pegs and then pick up momentum. And Foxy Data continued his recent good form, working home for 5th. Mick Danger only got tired the last 80. He's racing really well at the moment, and he's got another win in him pretty soon. Race 3, the fave was Cat's Eye Beach at $3.50. Speed early from Cat's Eye Beach, Colonia Courage and Ryan's Gangster. They went fast enough for the field to go into single file, leaving the straight. So it was Cat's Eye Beach, Colonia Courage, Ryan's Gangster, Dom Toretto, DeGoey, our mate Menko, Smooth Buzz, Has the Courage, Cash and Bling, Captain Tom. 26.8 for the first quarter. Entering the back straight, Captain Tom came off the inside as they got to the 900. Dom Toretto came off the inside, and most of those following then jumped into the running line. Has the Courage was the one that stuck to the inside. 29.4 for the second quarter, 27.9 around the side. They fanned on the turn. It ended up 6 runners wide as they ran for the money. Colonia Courage off the leader's back on the corner, got straight into the clear, went out after Cat's Eye Beach. Ryan's Gangster tracked Colonia Courage everywhere it went. Colonia Courage got to the lead, won narrowly, 27.4 final quarter, mile rate 151.5. Cat's Eye Beach, honest in second. Ryan's Gangster, Smart Drive, Josh Gallagher. Has the Courage, saved ground in the back straight and got 4th, Smart Drive 2. Smooth Buzz worked home okay, but gee, the rest were only average, including DeGoey, who had every chance after sitting in the 1-1. Race number 4, the fave was King Tintin at $1.85. There was speed early from Fire Out Ringo and Abstract Art, with Fire Out Ringo kicking through to lead. On the pegs, Fire Out Ringo, Abstract Art, Gabby Sportstar, the Texas Ranger, Running line, Captain of Speed, King Tintin, Island Bohemia, Tulhurst Terror, Spirit and Soul, Mammals, Alibi. 27.5 first quarter. They didn't go near the leader, so it got a nice soft run in front. Jet Turnbull off 3 wide with Mammals Alibi at the 1,000, which was asking a bit too much of it. 29.3 second quarter. As they got to the cages, King Tintin looked to be dropping off the back of Captain of Speed, who was first over. Mammals Alibi was gone out 3 wide. Then Captain of Speed stopped in the chair and went back through the field. 27.9 around the side. Far Out Ringo was left with a big lead. The initial challenger was Abstract Art, who had plenty of room to come out chasing. King Tintin got wide and into the clear. The Texas Ranger ducked back to the inside to save some ground. Spirit and Soul was last coming into the straight on the inside, and it pushed wide looking to get into the clear. Far Out Ringo was kicking on the inside, but King Tintin was able to get there right on the post. Boy, it's a horse that can find some trouble, but it won. 28.2 final quarter, mile rate 152.9. Far Out Ringo tried hard, as did Abstract Art, and they finished second and third. Spirit and Soul was very good late, weaving through for fourth. Race number 5, fave here was Ludicrous at $2. There was speed early in this one with Power Up, Vinky B, Corby Stumbler all going forward. Madigan and Donegal Luther progressed forward off the track without too much venom. As they settled down on the pegs, it was Donegal Luther, Madigan, Corby Stumbler, Vinky B, Power Up. Running line was Raka Jed, Stir Me Up, Ludicrous and Playful Miss. Lead time, 48.6, which was pretty quick for this grade. Raka Jed gave the leader no peace at all. 30.6, 29.2 the first 2 quarters. Raka Jed may have hit the front outside Donegal Luther just before the cages, but was completely gone just after the cages, and that forced Stir Me Up and Ludicrous to get out 3 wide before they would have wanted. It left plenty of room for Madigan to come off the leader's back. 28 seconds around the side. Donegal Luther gave a kick in the straight, but Madigan got wide and started to wear it down. Ludicrous didn't let down like I thought it might once it got into the straight. Corby Stumbler followed Madigan through, but it was Madigan that got there. Donegal Luther, super brave, racing well. Ludicrous worked home late for third, but on paper, every chance. Corby Stumbler, Vinky B benefited from racing on the pegs, finished 4th and 5th respectively. Final quarter, 27.3 for a 154.5 mile rate. Race 6, this was the Frith Stakes, and the fave was Artie's Express at $1.70 with the late support for stablemate Tay. Everyone wide on the track grabbed hold, so Artie's Express held the front comfortably. Tay dropped onto its back. Behind them on the pegs was I'll Have a Bubbles, Winona Ryder, Paz de Cheval, No Dramas, Total Diva, Promised Land, Running Line, The Vicar of Dibley, and Treacherous Gal. Pretty slow first half, 28.6 and 29. So 57.6 for these mares was always going to suit the front runners. 27.4 around the side. Artie's Express started to roll. The Vicar of Dibley never got up outside the leader despite racing first over, and it was in trouble on the turn. I'll Have a Bubbles popped out from 3 pegs to have a crack, and Tay waited until the 200 before it came out to have a crack, but Artie's Express, no trouble, scored comfortably. Final quarter, 26.2 for a mile rate of 151.2. Tay did everything she could. I'll Have a Bubbles rounded out a Grimson trifecta. Treacherous Gal did a good job to get home for 4th. Had cover throughout, but hit the line really solidly. She's racing well. Winona Ryder held off Paz de Cheval for 5th late. Crazy to think Jason Grimson has the best open class male and female pacers in the state. The depth he's got's unbelievable. Race 7, favourite here, Aldebaran Zeus at $2.70. There was some speed in this one early after One Magic Kenny missed the start. Funky Monkey, Sleepy, Caligula all went forward at the start. Not surprisingly, they went into single file. So it was Caligula, Funky Monkey, Sleepy, Courage, Stride, Sunny G, Aldebaran Zeus and One Magic Kenny. They flew through the first quarter, 26.2. And they still broke 30 for the second. They went 29.7. So at the 700, Aldebaran Zeus started the running line and just progressed forward. Past the cages, Caligula looked to be in a bit of trouble. Funky Monkey moved into the clear to have its shot at the leader. Aldebaran Zeus just kept on trucking towards the leaders. 29.5 around the side. Caligula gone, turning for home. Sleepy started to angle into the clear. Funky Monkey was in front momentarily, but Aldebaran Zeus just steamed past the leaders, and they were the ones that had done all the work in the early stages. He ended up racing away to score really convincingly. Final quarter, 27.8. Strong mile, 153.2. Sleepy, really good late after going to war early. Funky Monkey she's honest as the day is long. Caligula, look, he had the wind taken out of his sails early, but he was beaten a long way from home. Aldebaran Zeus, pretty impressive there. Race 8, the fave was Major at 3:10. There was speed in this race from R11 Art, Major, Jillaby Nitro, Kanina Provlima. And those out wide on the track were forced to work hard. First quarter only 27-1, so it wasn't blistering. But Kanina Provlima out 3 wide for all of that 400 metres, if not more. Kanina Provlima kept rolling forward and ended up having to be pressed, or the go button had to be pressed when it got up outside R11 Art and it wanted to hold. But Robbie Morris was pretty aggressive and got the front at the 950. So on the pegs, it was Kanina Provlima, R11 Art, Joni N, High Voltage, Surface Delight, running line, Jillaby Nitro, Major, Black Onyx, Sahara Sirocco, Double Act, 28.3 second quarter. So the speed was good. Morris didn't take his foot off the pegs too much throughout the third as they went around the side in 28.8. Double Act was out 3 wide from the tail of the field prior to the turn, but couldn't make any ground. Kanina Provlima slipped away. Major peeled off Jillaby Nitro's back. R11 Art rolled off, which gave Joni N a crack up the inside, but in the end it was a comfortable win for Kanina Provlima. Final quarter, 26.8, mile rate 151. Joni N followed the pegs home. R11 Art got third. Jillaby Nitro cutting the breeze isn't his go, and Major had every chance. Thought High Voltage was okay on the line. If they drop it back to midweek. Best winner of the night, well, he hadn't won for a long time, but gee, Kanina Provlima was the winner of the night, forced to work at all stages of the race, was trapped off the track going around the first corner and then wasn't handed the lead, had to work for it, and then Robbie just went for home at the top of the straight and it rolled away. Might be racing into some form. So that's Kanina Provlima, best winner of the night. Best beaten effort of the night, well, this is a tough one. I thought Sleepy was really good after getting involved in the speed battle and was still running on at the finish. However, I'm going to go with Donegal Luther. Lacks high gate speed, but can roll along at a very strong tempo and looks set to be winning again soon. So Donegal Luther gets best beaten effort of the night and best driver of the night. Well, I think in the trot, Bailey McDonough on Aldebaran Zeus may have been inclined to get involved early, but decided to go back at the start, come with that one run, got going at the right time, and then really put them away in the straight. Bailey is driving really well, and he deserves drive of the night.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning. Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
That I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner! Just like that.
And the winner is Mr. T. Just keeps on tipping winners. Another week of profit for him. So he's now plus $91. And I'm starting to drop out. I'm in the positive. I'm plus 14. So huge gap opening up with the first month of spring over. Firstly, Mr. T's 2. He's going to Bathurst on Wednesday. Race 1, number 6, Philando Denario for Matt Rue. Went back to the trials, won him very impressively. Formerly trained by the McDowells, now finds itself in the new camp. She's won nearly $150,000 in prize money. She's competing in and up to 47, so looks really well placed. Race 1, number 6, Philando Denario. Race 5, number 1, at Bathurst on Wednesday, Freedom Art for Kerry Ann and Robbie Morris. Wasn't beaten far at Menangle last start, and they did think enough of this filly to take her to Bathurst for the Gold Tiara earlier this year. She was placed in a heat, and she should take some beating from the good draw. That's race 5, number 1, Freedom Art. My 2, Menangle Tuesday. I'm going to go race 3, number 2, Lexus Lou. Paul and Cameron Fitzpatrick combining. Broke through for its first win at its third start. Placed third last time out. And importantly, the time was quicker. So there is improvement, and I think it's going to take a lot of beating. That's race 3, number 2. And race 9, number 7, Ideal Marquess, again for Paul and Cam Fitzpatrick. I love these horses that drop back from Saturday night meetings to midweek. I had absolutely no luck last time out. She doesn't have any gate speed. She has to be driven for one shot at them. But if everything goes her way, then I think she's going well enough to take some beating, and she might run over them late. Race 9, number 7, Ideal Marquess. Just about wraps it up. Just a reminder, no Sundays session next weekend. I will be back the following Sunday, so that's October 20, for another episode of the podcast. Stand by for some important news about the Sprint Lane podcast, though, with some very exciting news coming your way. Thanks to my guests, Robbie Morris and Josh Gallagher. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and I will catch you again in a fortnight. Bye for now.